Kurdish-controlled territories in the north of the country, we're hearing, are reportedly set to declare a federal system later today, Wednesday at some point. An official from the region reportedly said they're ready to take matters into their own hands, as they put it, after their exclusion from those ongoing peace talks in Geneva. The introduction of the federal system will combine 3 autonomous areas under self-administration, though independence. The caveat to this is out of the question. Now, the Kurds currently, the logistics here, control a 400-kilometre-long stretch of territory in the northeast of Syria, stretching from the city of Kobani to the Iraqi border. They also live in the northwest of Syria as well, in an enclave close to the Turkish border. Yeah, you can see it on the map there. Now, according to the plan, the area would be named the Federation of Northern Syria if this happens, and will represent all ethnic groups living there. We've contacted Barzan Iso, who is a Kurdish journalist, to try and put more meat on the bones of this. Here he is.
Now the conference just started in Rmelan city. About 200 people. Now the conference just started. This conference supposed to announce federation system as a political project for the Rojava and North Syria.
Well, let's now talk to Juan Zalal, Middle East political risk analyst, joining us on the line to get his thoughts about what is likely to be officially announced later on. Juan, hi there. What could have prompted the Kurds to make this move today? It's obviously going to extremely annoy Turkey. We'll get onto that in a minute. But what's behind this move now? Why have they felt they've got the impetus to do this and the energy to do it?
Well, the reality is, I mean, as you mentioned earlier in your report, the cantons always came under attack by the Turks. That the cantons, the way they rule those areas in the Kurdish part of Syria, is not inclusive of all the other minorities. And I think with this new structure, what they're trying to aim at to bring in all the different minority, whether Turkomans, whether Arab, Shia, Sunni, whoever lives in those areas, to include them in the governing structure of the new system. Although it hasn't been announced yet, but I think it's imminent that we're going to see you. And this is part of an effort by the Kurds to basically say, look, we are including other people, and the way we're doing it part of the federal system rather than a independent, because what Turkey is worried about, that breaking away of the Kurds from northern Syria. So by doing this, they basically legitimize their claim in one way, and the other way they're saying we're going to remain part of Syria, and this is going to be a federal structure, and we will remain part of Syria, so we have no intention of breaking away. And
well, of course, the leadership in Damascus and in Ankara, neither are going to be happy about this. There is just a comment coming in from the Turkish Foreign Ministry about this plan that we're hearing about, saying any plan for a federal system for Kurds will be illegal. So straight away we can see where Turkey stands on this. They won't buy it for a minute. Part of it may be, we're talking about the timing here, first of all, before we talk about the reaction. Part of it may be, I guess, that the Kurds thought this was a good time now, or best they could get, because of these ongoing Geneva peace talks. They're extremely upset, of course, that they weren't invited to those ongoing peace talks or consulted. Before we get a thought on that, let's just hear what the Russian point of view was on that, which is basically that they should have been invited. Let's listen to Sergei Lavrov.
Они объективно укрепили свое влияние на земле.
The Kurds are objectively strengthening their influence on the ground in Syria. Launching negotiations without them looks like weakness on the part of the international community, because Turkey is the only country blocking the invitation for the Kurdish Democratic Union Party.
So, bad news, they weren't invited as far as Russia is concerned. If they do set up this federal system, what impact's that going to have on these ongoing talks, if it is officially announced today?
As I said before, this will legitimize their claim, and basically they say we are part of Syria, and it's very counterproductive excluding the Kurds, because they control quite a big territory in the north eastern Syria, and by excluding them, you literally breaking away Syria, because if the Kurds are not included in a future Syria, so they're going to be outside of it. So what they're trying to do, they're saying, look, we're going to create this federal system. We're committed to stay within Syria, so we need to be part of the talks. And I understand Turkey's concern, but it's really counterproductive from even, if you look at it, logically, what Turkey will gain, because the Kurds have control of the area. They have tens of thousands of armed...
After having beaten back ISIS in many places.
Well, they're still fighting ISIS. The Americans are helping the Kurds to fight ISIS. Yes, the Turks are blocking all efforts by international community, and I think with the latest, Russian victory and Russian initiative, I think trying to get the Kurds in, because Russia will probably have a bit more say now while they're involved, and given the recent events where the Russians are pulling out some of their equipment, but they still pretty much have a say. And I'm quite optimistic that we will see participation from the Kurdish side in the maybe not in the next few days, but eventually the Kurds has to be included. Otherwise, the peace talk is not going to get anywhere.
Joanne, let's talk possible reaction then. Damascus has earlier stated it's against any federalisation of the country. It's going to be far from happy about it. If it does go ahead, as we think it will later today, and it is officially announced, I wonder what the official reaction from Damascus is going to be back.
I think it's probably going to be clear, as you mentioned, they're not going to be happy about it, because Damascus, wants the integrity of Syrian structure, but the fact on the ground is very different. Damascus controls less than a third of the country geographically. The main thrust for the Kurds is they have territory, they have militia, they have their armed people controlling those areas. So Damascus is not really in a position. Yes, they'll probably oppose it, but the reality dictates, and I don't think it will make much difference.
With regard to Turkey and what Ankara thinks about it, as I say, just to reiterate, we're getting that line through. Actually, there's a new one come through as I'm speaking. We've already mentioned the Turkish foreign minister saying any federal system for Kurds would be illegal as far as Turkey sees it. Also now the Turkish foreign minister, I've got the line in saying that Turkey says, yeah, it's just a repeat, actually saying it will be illegal. I wonder how far they will push Turkey, if this is announced today, their animosity towards it.
I think, Turkey is very clear. They just don't like the Kurds to be part of the new Syria. And as I mentioned earlier, the more the Turks push, yes, it will probably hinder efforts by the Kurds to gain more territory and to connect those various areas they control, because they still you have a fractured sort of geographically in the west as part of the Kurdish area, which is under the PYD, but they're not connected by land. So Turkey is really trying its best to make sure that those areas are not connected. Plus, the Kurds will have the least they talk, because obviously they consider them as DKK, which is understandable from the Turkish national security. But the reality is, this is far from what the achieved.
Joanne, thank you for your thoughts. You started to break up a bit. We'll come back to you a bit later, maybe if this is actually 100% cast iron. Thank you for your thoughts for now.